Hi everyone, my name is Emily Schumacher and this is my project 4 titled Sleep. So here's a quick project summary. For this project, I wanted to create an online survey asking SCAD students what their major is and how much sleep they get on average. I then collected the data to see if there was a correlation between the amount of sleep someone gets and their major. I then made graphs and an abstract painting to represent the data. My idea for just figuring out who gets the most sleep as SCAD just comes from a debate that always arises whenever I'm on a film set because we're all sleep deprived and we all just want to be like, who gets the least amount of sleep at SCAD and stuff like that. So then I was like, it'd be kind of interesting to do a poll or a survey and just get an idea uh, who does get the least amount of sleep at SCAD and who gets the most amount of sleep at SCAD. All right, so here's the data that I collected. So I got about 26 people to take my survey, and I sent the survey out in our class Zoom link, and I had people in our class take it, and then I also had some of my friends take it, and I had them send it to their friends. And so here are some of the questions that I asked people, like how many of hours of sleep do you get? Do you get enough? What prevents you from getting a good night's rest? Of course, the question is, what is your major? Do you work part-time, full-time, or as a student, do you work? And what is your favorite color? And I ask what their favorite color is because it helps me later for my abstract painting that I'm creating because I want to represent each major's like the data that I get for each major accurately, and they kind of have a color that represents them in a way in my painting. So here's a link to my survey. I'm going to keep it up because I would still love to have more people take it. I think to get the most accurate results, the more people who take it, the better. So I'm going to leave it up and, hopefully I can get more and more people to take it to get a more accurate reading. So I made a quick spreadsheet just to see everybody's answers based on like their major. So we have film, performing arts, sound design, dramatic writing. So yeah, I just used some more of my data as you can see here. So this is a pie chart I made. This is not broken down into majors just yet. This is just based off of everyone who responded. And the average, the most popular average that everyone said the amount of sleep they get was 7 hours. So from the 26 responses, 7 hours of sleep was the average. And then I asked people, do you feel the amount of sleep you get on average is enough? Um, the majority said no. And then it was kind of tied between people who said yes, they got enough sleep, and those who were kind of neutral about it. And then, are you a full-time or part-time student? The majority of the students that took this were full-time students. And then it was almost about half and half for those who work outside of school. The people who said no, they don't work outside of school was just a little bit more. So here we go. So here is a pie chart that I made that shows the average hours of sleep people get based on their major. So visual effects got the most amount of sleep, and then it goes animation, sound design, production design, performing arts tied, then film and television, fashion design, and then dramatic writing. Something that I didn't anticipate happening or being a problem was until later is I this you have to take this survey with or not this survey, but my results um with just keep in mind, I guess, is that for some categories such as production design and animation and dramatic writing, I only had one person take it. Whereas for fashion design, I ended up having 9 people take the survey, and for film, it was 7 people. So for production design, visual effects, animation, and dramatic writing, it's not like the most accurate representation of the students because there was only like 1 or 2 people who took it. Um, so, like I said, I would like to keep this survey up and then just keep collecting in order to get more accurate, a more accurate reading of the amount of sleep people get based on their major. So that was something I realized until later, but I address it in my abstract painting, which I'll go to next. So for this thing, I wanted to take a digital survey that I did and translate it into a physical medium. So I chose painting. So here's just a little bit into my process. Originally, I was gonna see what the most popular color is based on major and make that the color that I use to represent them in my abstract painting. However, there were times when like either all of the people in that major had different answer, like favorite colors, or there's only one person in the survey who said like, let's say they said green, but then film and television, the majority of people said green. So I was like, okay, what can I do to fix that? So I decided to like take each color that people said, like for example, let's look at film here. Everyone said green, dark green, green, purple, blue, gray, orange, and then I just combined them all together. And I made, since green had the most answers, I made that kind of like the more predominant color. And here's an example I did for fashion as well. So here's the final result. So I really the colors that I got from mixing were really interesting, and I kind of like it because originally I was going to go for more vibrant colors, but I feel like that doesn't accurately represent sleep because sleep is more calming um, and sometimes really tiring if you don't get enough sleep too. So the muted colors I think suited it a lot better. So for these bars, I kind of wanted to go for like a bar chart, but make it more abstract. So if you see here, so like the length of the bar, like how long it is, means how much more sleep they get compared to the other majors. So this purple one's visual effects, they go from the top to the bottom. They're longer than the other ones, meaning that they get the most sleep out of everybody else. And then in order to show that it's not completely accurate because like let's say like for dramatic writing over here only one person took the survey, whereas in fashion, which is right next to it, 9 people took the survey. So to show this, the width of the bar represents the amount of people in the survey who took it that had that major. So the widest bar in these is the one for fashion, and then next is film, and so on. I think this one's performing arts, yeah. And so yeah, that's how I kind of wanted to address that because I didn't want to hide away from that and be like, ah, yes, dramatic writing definitely they get the least amount of sleep. Because I honestly I don't know. I didn't have enough dramatic writing people take this quiz compared to everybody else. So yeah, so I thought I would visually represent that as well, just to like address it in the piece. And then for compositionally, I wanted the bars to look like they were pushing or at least trying to push through all of these words. And these words are words that I pulled from people's responses of what prevented them from getting a good night's rest. So some people said thinking too much, homework, roommates, 8 a.m. classes, work. Someone said SCAD with a little smiley face. And so I decided to put all of these in here and kind of like cram them together into this space and then have these bars, which represent these majors, kind of pushing through. And then if you look at the bars, they kind of have these different variations in like their color code. So, for example, so for fashion here, for those in fashion who said the amount of sleep they get on average is not enough, it's represented here in this darker color. And then the medium color represents those who answered neutral. And then the lighter color represents like saying, yes, I do get enough sleep at night. And that goes for the same with the rest of these. But yeah, this is my project 4. It was a lot of fun. Look forward to seeing everyone else's project 4. So yeah, thank you for listening to me talk.